We have been building since the dawn of time. Now it's time to build your home service business smarter with ServiceTitan, and Titan Pro Technologies is here to help you navigate and unlock its full potential. Welcome to Titan Talk.
What is up, guys? Welcome to Titan Talk webinar. Super excited to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking about spec-based estimate templates for roofing specifically. Super excited. I have my partner on here, Jake Blair. Jake Blair is the Chief Technology Officer. He manages an entire team of people building out Pricebooks, data team, transfers, and all sorts of people inside the organization. So he is definitely the guy to have on here. Before we jump in, I just want to take a second, talk a little bit about Titan Pro Technologies and what we do. You'll see that QR code up in the top right-hand corner. If at any point you're interested in booking some time to meet with me and Jake to discuss how we're able to help you with your company and your ServiceTitan instance, go ahead and you can book anytime that works for you. But essentially, we are a full service company here. We are able to help you with every single aspect inside of ServiceTitan from the very first time a call comes in, how that gets booked, and the marketing attributions, everything that's involved on the office side, dispatching the technicians, making sure that your dispatchers know who the right technician is for what job, and everything there, how they perform the job, which we'll talk about today, and the estimating portion, collecting payments and invoicing, with accounting, and all of the reporting, the most important aspect that you are on ServiceTitan for, making sure that your job costing is accurate, that you are profitable on every job, and you're seeing the KPIs that you want to see so that you can, pull on those triggers and make those adjustments in your business consistently. So at any point, you're welcome to book some time. You can go ahead and scan that QR code and we'll dive in. But I will turn it over to Jake. Jake, go ahead and introduce yourself, and you can dive right into the SBET Pricebooks.
Perfect. My name is Jake Blair. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Titan Pro Technologies. Today, we're going to be going over the spec-based estimate template feature in ServiceTitan and how it pertains to the roofing industry primarily. Everything that we're going to be going over today is in the LB Capital tenant. Everything in here, the price books, the templates, everything that you're going to see today, I built myself. And of course, if you have questions or anything like that, as far as anything we go over today, scan the QR code, meet with us, one-on-one. We're more than happy to answer any questions you're going to have. So diving right into this, here you can see I have a test job. Whenever you go through all this, there's a lot of things that you can do even before you set all this up. There's measurements, so you can link, Eagle View, GAF Quick Measure, Hover, any of those guys that integrate with ServiceTitan with a roofing measurement form can integrate not only with ServiceTitan but also on your spec-based template. Meaning it will already have a lot of those fields filled out for you. So your technicians don't have to manually enter a lot of information, and it leaves a lot less room for error. So that's something that we can also set up for you. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and create an estimate and kind of go over this form with you step by step and kind of show you how this works. So this is where it would show you if you were integrated with another input measurement form. You'd be able to choose that measurement that you pulled, and it would fill those existing measurements in for you. But for now, I'm going to do manually input, right? So we can see here this template that we have, you put one in here to quote the trade. If you want gutters, you can put gutters. And so you have skylights as an option, but I'm just going to go ahead and fill this out. The roofing area goes by squares. We can do square footage if you want to, but squares is a little bit more accurate. I'll just kind of put some stuff in here for measurements so we can get through this. But you'll notice it's the same as any other roofing measurement form, like Hover or Eagle View. It goes through the same exact parameters as any of those would. And the good part about this form, if there's something on here that you don't need, like seat or shake tear off, you can just leave it blank. You don't have to go in here and mark it as required like this one is here. So I'll go through here. Let's say we want some gutters. Do 200 feet of gutters. We'll say it's 1 story. We'll do 5 downspouts. You can add gutters to the good or better package. LB Capital, we have gutters on the best package only. I'm just going to hit no to those. I'm going to add a 12% waste factor. Once all this is filled out and all completed, I can then hit save, and it's going to think for a moment. And this is going to automatically build a good, better, best option for me to have ready to present to a client. Not only is it going to have these options built for us, but it's also going to have all of the job costing for these estimates completely accounted for, 100% down to the individual boxes of nails and all that. So everything's going to be accounted for. Nothing's going to be left out. Your job costing is going to be 100% accurate before you present to a client, and you're going to be all set. So we have our three options here. I'm just going to click into one of these so we can take a look under the hood. But this is everything that it populated for us. We have everything set to a 68% gross margin. We go in here and you can see we have all of our services, but these are all the materials that we have accounted for. Everything is counted. It all has the waste factor kind of built into it. And you have everything here that you could ever possibly need. You can see, there's different variants for different things, like the shingles themselves. I can click in here and I can edit the variation for those. I can select my colors, right? I'll select a color, I'll hit save, and I'll hit add that color, so once I hit add, it changes that material entirely to what it's supposed to be. And that goes for anything that has a color or any sort of variant inside of these estimates here. But everything's accounted for. Everything's job costed all the way down to the individual box of nails. There's nothing you have to worry about as far as like manual entry on like, oh, I need to order this or I need to order that. Everything's accounted for. And so what I can do now, let's say, somebody sold this job. If I were to sell that, I can go ahead and I can book a job off of this whole thing. And so when you book a job off of this, of course, you go to sell and convert, you choose the employee, you hit apply. Once it sells everything, you can select all of these, book your install job. And then when you go to build the purchase order, it will actually be all set, ready to go. What I mean by that is whenever you click on the purchase order side, there's going to be a button in the bottom right corner that is going to say copy invoice items on the purchase order. So if I go to the invoice here, just as an example, and let's say I add, let's just say I add one of these for example here. Save that. Oh, that didn't have a material. Let's do drip edge here. So if you had a purchase order, you would select your vendor, right? Say it's Beacon or QXO, whatever you want to do there. There's that copy invoice items button. There's no invoice items on this one that I tried to add, but once you click that button, everything will populate down here for your PO automatically for you. The only things that you would have to worry about down here, of course, labor items. You're not going to order those from a vendor. So you would select those, you would delete them off of there. But everything else you would keep, you would create that purchase order. And once it's made, you just push it through like normal in that process. If that's a process you're not familiar with, scan that QR code, book an appointment with us. We're more than happy to walk you through it. And so that's something that you can do with the purchase order side instead of having to manually put things into. Another thing that some people have, come to us as clients having an issue with is job costing. You'll notice that you have, a material section and you have the committed costs or purchase order section. And one of the things that you'll notice is whenever you make purchase orders, you'll still have the materials in the material section and everything in committed costs. It'll actually copy or duplicate those over. And you end up with double job costing. And the reason why is that people aren't using the copy invoice items button on the purchase order. If you click that button, it will move those materials from the material section to committed costs. You will not have double job costing. But if you don't use that button, you'll end up with double job costing. And if you're experiencing that, that's why your numbers are off. So that's an important feature there. But once all that's ordered, of course, you're left with the labor items. There's a couple different things you could do with those. You can make another purchase order with the labor items on there. And you can either have your subcontractors as vendors in ServiceTitan, and you can pay them through ServiceTitan that way instead of having to do it through payroll. Or you can make the purchase order with the labor items, zero them out, and put them into like a dummy vendor of some kind. That way they don't move over into QuickBooks. So there's a couple different options there for that, but that's the best practice for right now. So just looking under this, I know there's a lot of stuff I just went over. These estimates just magically populated here. But as far as how they get populated, it's actually a lot more complicated than you would think. There's that form. There's questions on the form that get put into what I would explain as sort of like math equations or formulas. And so I'll just kind of give you a quick view of what that looks like and what we do here at Titan Pro to streamline that. So showing this here, this is what it looks like under the hood. We have a whole bunch of different columns and things. This is basically the spec-based estimate template in code form per se. So we have all of our SKU codes. These are all services that have materials linked to them. This is the SKU ID from ServiceTitan itself. Of course, you have the different names of things with the option that it goes under. And these are the formulas here. And I'll zoom in so everybody can see this. These are the formulas. You can see that you can use the if function. You can use the roundup function if you're familiar with Excel. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this. But, in a nutshell, everything that's in brackets is referencing the answer to that question in the form. And you're making the formulas based on that information. So, for example, here, if I'm looking at, let's see, metal tear off, right? It's going to round up the number that's inputted for metal tear off. And if it's empty, it's going to mark it as 0 so it doesn't populate, right? If I did the shingles here, this is a more complicated formula based on what LB Capital does here. But, it takes all the roof pitches and adds them together, multiplies them by the waste factor, which is the waste factor number, which is a whole number like 12, like you saw me input, divided by 100 plus 1. We multiply that by the roof pitches added up together, and it gets rounded up and gives us the number of that service that we need for all those shingles. So that is how it all really works in a nutshell. There's good, better, best options in here, of course. They're all in the one form. Everything is in an item group, meaning that a customer will not be able to see a lot of the stuff that is on here, just the parent service. So I'll show you that just briefly. Going back to my other screen here. So if I go into this here and I go to the print view, you'll be able to see exactly what the client will see whenever they look at an estimate or an invoice from you on these estimates. So you can see here, it's just the parent service, and it has the total price. And we have the full description of that parent service. So it's important to have this on there. You have your company logo. We can customize this however you want to, but it has everything in here, what's included, what's not included, warranties, things like that. And just the total price here. So that is all they see. They don't see any of the labor stuff that you don't want them to see. They don't get to see how many bundles of shingles you ordered or anything like that. So it really helps streamline that process where a client's not going to look stuff up on you or say, why are you charging this much for labor? It's just one line item there that gets the job done there. So that is really the whole process in a nutshell. We have all the materials here that are linked. Whenever we make these, we start with what you're looking for in your good, better, best. We find the materials that you use. If you use ABC Supply or QXO or SRS, their websites are great. You would just give us a login for them. We'd be able to look at your frequently ordered items, and we can build you a good, better, best option off of the materials that you use in there. QXO has a good feature. They have templates already in there. You can have your vendor make those templates, and we can make a spec-based template off of what you have there. So it's a very good streamlined process on that as far as how we build it. We handle all the hard work for you. It's not something that you have to be super tediously involved in. We make the services, we make the materials, we get them all put into the price book for you. We make the good, better, best options with the formulas, and we present those to you. Of course, there's going to be that period of testing where you have to use it for a couple days, couple examples, different types of roofing jobs to make sure that you're not having to change anything or something's not adding up the right way, or maybe you want to change a good, better, best option. But that is the whole process in a nutshell. So If anyone has questions on any of this, scan the QR code. You can get me and Josh on a call. We can sit down with you, answer any questions that you would have. We can go more in depth on this if you wanted to take a look under the hood with us. And like I said, we can answer any questions you have on this. But that's the full process.
Awesome. Jake, awesome job, brother. Thank you. I have a question for that example specifically. Like, what were the differences? Like, what are the differences between the good, the better, and the best in that example that the form was able to spit out?
Yeah, let me pull that up. Yeah, so I will pull each option up on my screen for you. So this is a good option, right? We have the HDZ shingles, the sealer ridge caps, the drip edge, tri-built ice and water, all the custom dry earth underlayment from Planet Roof that's specific to them. But that's the good option. The better option, we actually upgrade to TimberTech's ridge cap shingles, Pro Start starter shingles. The Snow Country ridge vent is there as well. We have Weather Watch ice and water shield. And then we have the dry earth underlayment. So that's the difference there. And then the best option, we actually upgrade to UHDZ shingles on that. And then we also have gutters included as well. So gutters get added to this, and that's all included there. That's really the main difference between the three options. But the formulas are what dictate what goes in what option. I know we saw in the formulas there briefly that, we have, okay, this service goes with a good package, this service goes with a better package and whatever. But, they're all based off of those formulas, and those formulas dictate what gets populated on what estimate and what that looks like.
That's perfect. And then from like companies that are, have gone from not using spec-based estimate templates to using it, kind of obviously it's streamlining their sales process. Is it, increasing their, average ticket? Kind of what does it look like for how it's affecting their businesses?
It affects the business greatly. I mean, the time that this saves you is almost enough to run a whole other appointment, and if you're running more appointments, you're going to close more deals, you're going to make more money, right? Having the good, better, best options, just that in general. The more options you're presenting, the more likely a client's going to choose an option from you. So it definitely changes the business entirely. Makes you a lot more money, makes you look more professional, because if you're up against some other company that's spending 20-30 minutes in their truck building options, where you're in the middle of talking to them and they're like, well, how much is it? And you click one button and you're like, well, here's your options. You're going to look way better than that guy that's sitting in his truck for 20-30 minutes trying to come up with a solution. And most of the time it's only one option.
Right. Yeah. And and that's what I love about it too, is it's totally custom to every single job, depending on how many squares or what the ridge length. Like if you were to have proposal templates, like the standard version, those are going to be standard. Like those are going to be the same. And then you have a lot of editing and modifying to do. Whereas this is spitting out a totally custom option for them on every single job, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
It's great. Awesome. All right, Jake. Well, listen, I appreciate you going through that. Super helpful. I know, a ton of people are, going to be going into spec-based estimate templates, and we're excited to be able to help you. So if you are in need of some help there, we have the team to do it. We'll take good care of you. Just go ahead and scan that QR code. You can book some time on our calendar, and then, we'll meet with you and see exactly, where you're currently sitting and how we can help. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you coming in. And we'll see you next time on the Titan Talks webinar. See ya.